that good.
All right, we'd like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity podcast for your voice in my headset on friendship. And this used to be the white male over 50, but now it's on friendship, but it goes back and forth. So you never know what you're going to get when Patrick and I come together here. So, Patrick, you went ahead and had a survey about men. I think were surveyed about feelings or something. What was that about?
Yeah. Okay. So the survey was conducted by a psychotherapist who uh, basically asked 100 husbands, "Do you think that your wife cares about your feelings?"
Yep.
Okay. And he said, I started the survey, I started with 100 men, and 100 out of 100 said, absolutely not. Okay. And then he asked the question, do you wish your wife actually cared about your feelings? And he said 100 out of 100 said yes. And so did I get that right? 100 said no, they don't care, and 100 out of 100 said yes, they wish that they did care. And so he said, well, that was kind of a flop of a survey. Okay. So
Why was it a flop?
it was a flop because he said you don't keep asking people who always give the same exact answers. Okay. I mean, that makes no sense whatsoever. So he then developed a like system for letting men uh you know get together and I guess learn how to care about each other's feelings. You can probably tell how I feel about that, but in any event, my thought on that was different. And so my question for you, Mark, is do you think that your wife cares about your feelings?
No, she does not.
Okay. And then the second question is, do you wish she did?
No, I do not.
Your answer and my answer are exactly the same. I
Right.
think that's worth discussing.
I think you're right. I think you're right. So my wife is on, which is
Right.
so. Rosanna, do you have any questions?
No, it's kind of a sad thought though, that men don't feel that their wives care about their feelings, and
Right,
sad thought
Patrick. Isn't
that
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 fascinating
women
what she
don't.
said? Like, isn't it fascinating that she said it's kind of sad that men feel that don't feel that their wives care. She's not sad that their wives don't care. She's just
See, you didn't let me finish. You cut me off. Thank you. You cut me off, and I said before you decided that you had to say something was that it's sad that women don't care about their husband's feelings like they should.
well, you know, just because men feel that their wives don't care, it doesn't mean they don't care. It just means men feel that their wives don't care about their feelings. The thing that's fascinating to me, Patrick, is that the 100 men, like they don't they don't really understand and process this thing well.
Yeah, I agree.
Because like I know what my answer is. If somebody were to say, Mark, that's curious, why don't you want your wife to care about your feelings? Um, and so I know what my answer would be. What would be your answer to this?
Mine?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So my answer, I even actually wrote my answer down.
Yeah.
Uh, my answer is, all right, hold on, I'm going to pull it up because I wrote it down.
And isn't it interesting? Isn't it interesting that, I mean, Mary, she has a reason, a good reason. I think there's health something. So she's in the, I think hospital or something going on in the family, not her, but family. But isn't it interesting that Nora and Elaine are not and Ginger Ann are not?
Yeah, they might find value in this.
See, they might find value in this, but it's really interesting. But what's cool, kind of boring, kind of cool and boring, is that we know why they're not on.
So state the unstated.
Well, the reason they're not on is because they have a good reason for not being on.
Okay. What is that good reason?
Well, probably they have children.
Right.
So if a woman ever doesn't want to do something, misses doing something, drops the ball on something, if anything happens, it's going to be the children.
Okay. All right. Back to the reason that I don't want my wife to concern herself all that much with my feelings. Okay. It's my job to manage my feelings. Good feelings are a product of thoughts, beliefs, or feelings, as well as good. Okay. I mean, good and bad both. When I accept responsibility for whatever feelings I have, good or not, I'm compelled to do something different, think something different, or feel something different, or not, if I don't want to change it. I personally don't want to concede that responsibility to anybody else. That's how, in my view, a person becomes weak. I mean, I'm talking about men in particular. All right. Feelings can and do create or otherwise affect choices, beliefs, thoughts, and other feelings. The more I allow my feelings to be influenced or managed by others, the more I'm allowing my actions, thoughts, beliefs, and feelings to be influenced by others. So I have a resistance to that because I find it more helpful to just make sure I'm responsible for what's happening in real time. What I would say, for the benefit of Roseanne and any other female who manages to say it, is that it doesn't work the other way. Okay? I have no problem being concerned about the feelings of my wife or any female around me. I have no problem with that. It's not an equal back and forth. But I will notice and tell you that my experience with my wife over this exact issue is that the reason she doesn't like hearing that is because she assumed because I don't want her to be concerned about my feelings that I don't want to be concerned about hers. Okay? And she's made that very clear, that that's what bothers her about that. Does that make, I mean, what do you think about that?
Is this what you're saying? I just want to be clear, Patrick, because I just want to make sure I'm not misunderstanding your wife or women in general. So you're saying that your wife thinks when you say to her you don't want her to care about your feelings, she's saying she's not happy with that because she thinks if you don't care about if she doesn't care about your feelings, you don't care about hers.
Something like that. Yes, yeah. That's exactly right.
This is fascinating because I was going to say something totally different, but it's actually the same. My experience is that when if I share anything even remotely close to feelings with my wife or my daughters, that it's the craziest thing in the world on how it takes almost like no time at all. It's a reflex where all of a sudden it becomes all about their feelings.
Repeat that. Becomes what?
It's all about their feelings.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Exactly right.
Right. That's exactly it's so crazy. It's like I have like my feelings, honey. My feelings are that you're not nice to me. Okay, that's a feeling. She's not nice to me. And all of a sudden, it flips in an instant on how the reason she's not nice to me is because of me. Like everything comes back to it's Mark's fault for everything, which again, I've learned to accept. Now, I don't know why a woman would ever give up that control and responsibility for things, why she would give me the control over everything. Because if I'm taking ownership, this is why people like it's your fault, Mark. I'm like, yep, it is. Absolutely. I can take everybody's ownership because what they're doing is handing me the keys and they're saying, Mark, you are in control of me. I'm like, I am really in control of you because you choose to have me in control of you. You're just a puppet.
Okay, so let me say what you just said in my way, which is different but the same.
Right.
When I, for example, express to my wife that I'm feeling discouraged, what she does is becomes discouraged because I'm feeling discouraged.
Right. 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 It's right. It's crazy.
It never ends well.
Like Nora and Kenny were over on Sunday and we watched It's a Wonderful Life. They're like Clarence. It's like he jumps into the river. Like it's like they're going to save us from being discouraged by being more discouraged. And it's like, dang, that's pretty cool.
It becomes about their feelings, which means that if you allow yours to get dragged down, if you have some kind of, negatives, that when you kind of relate and express that, you're dragging down them.
Oh,
if they weren't already there.
Right. Right. You don't go like, how's your day? It's awesome. Like we just
So
lost.
it's like you can't have a bad day or what?
Right.
You have it.
Yeah, I get that.
You own it. You have it. You don't own it. You don't necessarily have to spread it around.
Right. Right. Like
now,
right.
Let's take this one level further because I happen to find this interesting and instructive. What happens when a man expects his wife to be concerned about his feelings? All right, Mark.
I don't know, but I've never
experienced. Do you know anybody like that?
Pretty.
Come on. Do you know anybody that's like that?
Oh yeah, yeah. That is No, like holy cow.
Tell us what that looks like. You can conceal the name, protect the innocent. Okay.
Yeah, no, I get it. I won't name names or anything. I won't give a part. It's just crazy. I mean, one thing it does do is it does provide a lot of humor for me. I'm like, dang, are you kidding? Like it's just like it's just baffling to me how a man would become a little boy. Like Lincoln's not feeling good today. He's 3. I get that. Wants to go ahead and have his mom hold him and hug him and stuff. I get that. A 3-year-old boy. I don't know. I don't think my mom did that. I don't think she did. I think she said, get back.
Oh, God.
And I love my mom a lot. Like, I love her because she just, I don't know, she helped me help me to realize my feelings don't matter. And I think that works really well.
Yeah. So is Nora on? Did I hear her speak
Nora
up?
is on, and Elaine have joined us too. And, they're late, but we already covered that, ladies, because we knew that there's a reason it's probably your kids. So you don't have to go through that. Like, we got that all covered. It's fine. So Nora and Elaine are on, as well as Rosanna too.
I want to hear the ladies' view of this thing.
All right, let's start off with Elaine.
I'm not sure what to say.
She's laughing. She's laughing. See, she's very different. She's not the normal woman. The normal woman be like, how dare you say these things? Like, how dare you? Like, it's so cute. It's so, like, I don't know, a few weeks after my mom died, we were on a date. We were on a date and we were at a restaurant and I was sitting there and Rosanna said, are you sad that your mom died? I didn't say anything about my mom dying. I was just there. I wasn't crying. I was just there. I was just being present on the date. And so this would have been, I don't know, 8-9 years ago. And so I can give you guys some tips. This is good. You learn a lot of things here. You learn a lot of things. They're biblical, actually, on biblical things. And so this is all biblical. This is all appropriate. So she's like, are you sad that your mom died? And I said, I'm not sure. And she's like, what do you mean you're not sure? I said, I don't know if I'm sad. And she looks at me and cocks her head just like this. She cocks her head and she says, how can you not be sure? And I said, well, I don't know if it's going to serve me and you well. Because I'm thinking my feelings and sadness, is this going to bring benefit, benefit to, both of us? Like it's a date night. Like we want to bring benefit. Like I'm not going to be sad unless it's going to bring benefit to everybody involved. And I said, I don't know. And she says, like, how do you know? I don't know if it's going to bring benefit to us. And then she started laughing. And then I said, well, I'm glad I'm not sad about my mom dying, because if I was sad about my mom dying and you're laughing, that would really be a killer. Like that would not be nice at all. And then she just shakes her head and she went ahead and she's like, you're just weird. Now, it's been 8 years. Every once in a while, she hasn't asked that lately, but if she did ask that, like biblically, what would I say? Like if she said, hey, Mark, like, hey, honey, are you sad that your mom died? What would I say?
Well,
Elaine, go ahead. I think you're Elaine. What would I say biblically? Biblically, there's a Bible passage that supports this. Man, I'm telling you, there's some good things about your mom dying. So biblically, what would I say in the future? So she says in the future, I wasn't thinking, like I thought about it later, but I didn't think it fast enough. So if she has said that now, she says, hey, are you sad about your mom dying? What would I say? I'd look down and say, and then there'd be a tear coming down. I'd be like, don't laugh. I'd be like, I'm devastated.
really? You'd say that?
Oh, for sure.
You know what I'd say?
No. You want to find out why I'm saying what I'm saying.
Okay, why?
Because when what was it? Abraham's wife, like when one of the sons, his mom died, what did he do? He went in to his wife and she comforted him. So you can be sad on a date night and it works great. It's beneficial for her because she's like, oh my goodness, I'm going to make this guy happy. And it's good for him because he's happy. So being sad is one of the best things you can do on a date night. So I missed the opportunity, but I've taken it up a few other times. It's a little weird sometimes where it's like, why is she asking that 6 years after? But I'm like, I'm very sad. It's a very sad thing. So again, kids, young men, go to church, listen to the sermon, because there's some really cool stuff that you can apply that you would never think. You think, didn't learn that in Sunday school. So feelings are really cool, and learning about them is like, it's really good. Nora, what are your thoughts about this whole conversation?
About 5 minutes ago, I was like, well, maybe I was married to a woman.
That's my point.
That
Because I can relate better with you guys than I probably should be able to.
right.
Hey, Mark, tell him the story about the BITCH.
So we just call it the B story. So Nora and I went on a kayak adventure. So we go on with Lincoln, and I'm doing all these adventures with Lincoln, her 3-year-old son, and she's getting a little teary-eyed, misty-eyed, and she's thinking, how come you do all these adventures with my son? I'm like, he's just fun to do adventures with. So we went on a kayak ride, and we're going down the river, and then she went ahead and said something about she had a friend, and the friend, and it was a wife, and the wife was a B to the husband. BITCH. So she was a B to the husband. Do you know what the husband did, Patrick?
No.
He took her out to eat.
Really?
Right? That's what I said. Really? Like, huh? And then Nora said the most fascinating thing. She said, I wish like that would happen to me. So that was fascinating to me that she said it, and that connects back into maybe who she was married to. The roles were reversed, I think. Like, I
Huh.
think the husband was the B normally. So Nora she just wanted to go ahead and like have an emotional meltdown. She just wanted to go ahead.
Like, I just wanted one day where I could be a bee. Like, I'm not even allowed to be one. So I don't even know what that feels like. So I'm like, I just kind of want a day that I could be a bee. I don't know.
Or an hour, like, or 10
Or an hour, right?
right? So what that tells about that woman is not normally that. That does not happen on a regular basis, I'm pretty sure. Like the husband's like it's number 6, Patrick, on the scale for women that your wife discovered she just wants a hug.
Right.
If your wife isn't normally a B and she is all of a sudden a B, she just needs a hug. She just needs to take her out and say, it's okay, honey, to be like this. Like I don't know, once every year, or I don't know, 5 years, 10 years, whatever. So my heart went out to Nora and I thought, So then I thought, well, because her husband's not doing this, he never lets her to go ahead and do this. So I don't know, about a half an hour later on the kayak ride, she was a little bit of a B. And I'm like, oh. So I'm like, okay, this is my opportunity. So I took her out for dinner that night. And it's like, I don't think she's been that way again since then. I don't remember it. And so it's like, so that's how I feel like I have to be like, I didn't understand why I had to go to my mom's funeral. Like, this is stupid. She's dead. Like, why do I have to go? I'm always having to perform. Like,
Right.
having to perform. I'm always having to be like, even at pickleball, like if I'm quiet, a bunch of people come up and say, Mark, are you okay? Like, like it's fine. I mean, I appreciate that they care about me, but when they go and say, you know, you need to be happy or smile, it's like, really, I'm just, I kick your ass a lot better if I'm not happy. Like, that's probably why they want me to be happy, because I'm a lot more ferocious of a pickleball player. So it's I don't know. So I think I relate to Nora. I think she relates to me. Like, can there be a day where I'm just down? And so I think I think that there's scar tissue that happens in a marriage. And the husband gets hurt, and then he learns not to share his feelings.
Well, let me ask you something. I understand that, but it feels to me like, well, what happens if you say, well, wait a minute, if I get hurt, whose job is it to deal with that? It's not my job to train my wife or force her to change or want her to change. It's my job to figure out how to deal with it.
Let me ask you a question, Patrick.
Yeah.
If your wife takes a gun and shoots you in the back, whose job is it to make sure that doesn't happen again?
Well, I would think it would be my job. The first shot is a freebie, and then the second one is my responsibility. Right?
Right? So I know what you're saying, and I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. I'm trying to kind of embellish it to understand. It's like, you know, honey, like with my kids, like I would go with my kids. And I've said this to my wife a few times too, not a lot in 41 years, but sometimes I'll say to my kids, or I'll say to my wife, I'll be like, look at this face. Is this a face you want to mess with right now? Like, I don't know. Like, why can't they be in the social? And so I think that wives inadvertently really hurt their husbands. And the husband.
Oh, I have no doubt that they do, but it seems to me that it's the husband's job to deal with it. Sorry about that.
Well, there's
I got a call that came in. All right. So anyway, I just happen to think it you know, if so when we talk about weak husbands, all right, what does a weak husband look like? And I think when we're dealing with this feelings things, I tend to think that, I mean, maybe it's because my wife has trained me this way, but what the thing that is the most damaging is if my wife thinks of me as a weak man, and they can feel that way and think that way, pretty, pretty forcefully. They don't have to say a whole lot to communicate that. That hurts way more than anything else does. So my whole idea is, what is the expectation? But what does a weak man do? The weak man assumes some kind of childlike pose where his wife / mother is responsible for his feelings. And I think of that as being weak. So, that's why I think that it's a man's job to manage his own feelings, and that's the feelings component. Life is made up of a lot more than just feelings, that's for sure. But the idea is that component is something that on this podcast we've been kind of working through over the last several weeks. So that's why I'm interested in it.
Well, and this is what's interesting. This is what's fascinating. Rosanna, do you have any thoughts to rein your husband in?
Not really sure. You can go for it. I'm okay with that.
So is that a strong husband, a wise husband, or a weak husband? Maybe there's 3 types of husbands. There's strong, there's weak, and then there's wise. And so Nora and I, because, we're level 4 friends, Nora and I had this very conversation. So I'm not afraid of crying. Like, my dad, he cried once or twice that I saw. I cry a fair amount. So I'm a crier. I don't have a problem with crying. I really don't. But it's interesting who I cry in front of. And so with Nora, I've cried in front of her more than I have probably anybody in my life. So I was talking, it's weird that you bring this up. So I was just talking to her maybe yesterday or Monday. I don't know. I mean, I think it was, I don't know. It was yesterday or Monday. And I said to her, I said, like, I don't like crying around you. I don't like sharing my feelings, my hurt. I don't like that because it makes me feel vulnerable and weak. And she said, I think of that as being strong. Now, what's interesting is her husband, soon to be ex, like, she thought of him as being weak and he never cried. And so women, I think, they want to heal. Like when their boys are hurt, moms just naturally want to heal them. They just want to help them. They don't want them to be hurt. Now, I think a wise mom will go, hey, you did it yourself. I warned you once to be careful. You weren't. So my mom was tough as nails. Like she was tough. She was hard on us, and I loved her for it. Now, I don't know. I'm just picking out a random example here. I don't know where this is coming from. If you're, I don't know, let's say 42 years old, and, you don't want to say to your mom, if you're 42, I think I might, I don't know. I think I might go ahead and have high blood pressure. Like, dude, you're 42 years old. Like, if you get a sliver, you get something in your 3, like, it's okay. Like, you can go to your mom. And I don't think it's healthy if your mom goes ahead and says, are you okay? Like you should be old enough to go ahead and figure it out. And then your mom's not a medical doctor. She shouldn't be giving you like, some type of high blood pressure. She shouldn't be doing that. She's not a medical doctor. And then you shouldn't be saying to her, well, you know what? I'm just not doing good. I have high blood pressure. Like, oh my gracious, you poor boy. You're 40, we're saying 42. Like, you shouldn't be doing that. And then, well, I got to get home and help my wife and my kids. And like, dude, like, so I do think, Patrick, I do think that a number of moms, like there's a lot of talk out there among some circles about emotional affairs. Now, just to be clear, I've been told that it's totally okay for me to have an emotional affair with a spreadsheet. Like, that's okay. Not a problem. I can do that. But not good to have one, with, another woman other than your wife. I'm not saying I agree or disagree. I'm just saying there's a lot of talk out there. But what about when mom goes ahead and says, I don't know, like, hey, handsome, to her son? Like, I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying, is anybody going to say, excuse me, are you having an emotional affair with your son? Like, nobody's going to say that. I don't think. And I'm not saying you should. I'm just like, well, that's interesting. And so, like, it was interesting. Like, one of my sons, when he worked in the RV factory, when he first started working there, he'd come home at night and he's so sore. And he had a hard job. I mean, he was putting in awnings. I mean, it was physical. It was hard. He wasn't used to that. He'd come home all sore and he'd talk to his sister. And his sister would be like, oh, my gracious, Ben, this is so, he'd go on and on and on. And then he'd talk to his mom, and his mom would do the same thing. He'd talk to his brother-in-law. His brother-in-law would be, and his father, and his brother-in-law and father would say, suck it up, buttercup. I mean, stop your being a woman, wuss. Like, just don't. So moms, I don't know. Like, my mom was not really a hugger, I don't think. And, I don't remember. And she wasn't soft. And I absolutely adore my mom. I mean, absolutely adore her. Like, she is just the coolest woman in the world. And she wasn't, she wasn't a hugger. She wasn't. And I like that kind of stuff. And my wife is really good at that. She's very good at, she's good at doing that. And I appreciate that. So I think it's hard, like I think, Patrick, in this, so in the level 4 friendship, and I appreciate to no end that my wife allows me to have deep friendships with women. So Elise, and that are not my daughters, Elise and Elaine and Nora. And so I think the thing that's tough, Patrick, is I think a lot of times a wife will take on her husband's pain and think she caused it. Now, if she shot him in the back, maybe she shouldn't do that. But I think it's hard for a wife. Like, it's easier for an Elaine or for a Nora, because it's not connected, it's not connected back in directly to, like, they're not feeling like, if I'm emotional or something with them, they're not thinking I have failed my husband. I think it's harder for my wife. Like, I think it's harder for my wife because she thinks if I'm emotional, vulnerable, that kind of stuff, she might feel that she's the one that caused it. Maybe she contributed to it. Maybe there's something there. But in Elaine, she's not going to feel that. Or in Elise, she's not going to feel that. Or Nora, she's not going to feel that. She's not, because they haven't been married to me for 41 years. And so what I realized last night in my sleep, so with Nora, I realized this, I don't know, a couple months ago. where I was hurt with something she said or did or something like that, but it really wasn't her. It was really baggage from other, stuff. And I put that on her because we have a strong enough, I think, friendship. And it was rough for her. She didn't know how to process it and whatever. But what I realized last night in my sleep is that each of the four personalities, and we want to map this out, each of the four personalities have like a kryptonite. Like Superman has a vulnerability. So each of these have where you just feel like a vampire will just suck the life right out of you. And so for my wife, that's probably, I'm guessing, conflict. Just sucks the life right out of her. Would that be fair, Rosanna? Or
Oh yeah.
the only thing worse than conflict. Do you know what that is, Rosanna? The only thing that sucks the life out of you worse than conflict is?
When your energy's low.
Well, not even worse than that.
Children.
Okay. Even worse than that. It's when
you go quiet.
Yeah, when I go quiet. Because she doesn't know. So what she does is she comes on podcasts. Isn't that fascinating, Patrick?
Yep.
She comes on podcasts that, probably are going to be listened to by 8 billion people. She comes on podcasts to find out what's going on inside my head and my heart. So it's easier to share on a podcast what's going on than it is with her. Isn't that interesting, Patrick?
Mm-hmm.
So that's another podcast for another time. So with me, what just drains the life right out of me is stupid people. Like I only have one boundary, and that's being stupid. Don't be stupid. And so small talk, what I consider insignificant things, that drains the life out of me. Like, why are we even talking about this? She's fine with small talk. So when there's like during the holidays and we're around family, it just drains the life because they're talking about all kinds of things that I don't for the life of me understand why we're talking about these things, because they don't seem to have any relevance of significance. Now she enjoys that kind of stuff. They enjoy her, she enjoys them, but I don't enjoy that. So I try to go ahead and bring a friend, but I found out that I can't bring a friend. So I have to go and be with a whole bunch of people that are going to be talking about a whole bunch of things that I just don't see any value in the conversation. So she enjoys that. I don't. With the expressive personality, so I think, she doesn't like conflict. I don't like it. I probably like it less than she does, but I'm willing to go ahead and have the conflict to gain the benefit, which is the deep relationships. And she can't or won't do that, which is whatever. It's her choice. She gets to choose. But when I'm around, I can't choose. I can't choose to go ahead and actually address the elephant in the room. So there's 20, 30 people. Everybody knows there's this issue, this issue, this issue, this issue. And nobody will address that issue. I'm willing to do it, but I won't out of consideration for my wife. But it sucks for me because I hate it. I'd rather not be there. The expressive, they have energy sucked out of them if there's not high energy and passion. And so, the analytic, if things aren't properly, if everything's not quite right. So we like other people who are like us, and we fall in love with people who are opposite of us. So what I figured out last night in my sleep is that it's like in a game, like gaming. Like if you get shot in a game, you probably aren't going to die, but you lose energy, life. And after you lose enough life, you die in a game. And that's what life is to me. When I'm around a bunch of low frequency people, my life, the very life of me just goes out of me. So what gives me life, it seems like to get there drains my wife, and what gives her life just drains the energy right out of me. And if I have 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 people, it's hard. Questions or thoughts on that, Patrick?
No, that's pretty good. Pretty good. I'll have to think about it.
It's interesting. Elaine, anything you got?
No, it was very interesting.
What was interesting about it for you?
Just the different viewpoints you each had, but they both connected in a different way, and they were both the same, but just different worded.
Interesting. Oh, Patrick and I, yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting on how Nora resonated with me or men. Patrick and I, and men, like she knows how we feel, so I tend to like women more than men, because I just expect women to have feelings and this and that. So there's a different expectation. When men are like women, I have a hard time, and more men are becoming like women. They just are.
That's right. I agree.
And so, it's like, so women, I just kind of expect it, enjoy it. That's beauty of being a woman. She does that. That's okay. But men, it's just hard. Nora's the opposite. Like she has a hard time with women, and she enjoys men. Men enjoy being around her. So, Rosanna, anything you got?
No, this has all been really good. Thanks
What's good about it?
for sharing. Oh, just understanding the nuances of men and women, and maybe how to balance it better so that there's stronger relationships.
Right? Like when God designed us, it seems like to like people who are like us and fall in love with people that are opposite of us. There's a reason for that.
I think he had some humor, don't you think?
Right? Or he had a little bit of an edge about him, like, I'm going to get those humans back for crucifying my son. Like, yep, I don't know. Like, was this before the fall? Was this how it worked? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know that. So yeah, it is, but it's when you understand, like if you can understand, I was thinking today after waking up at 2:00 in the morning, I'm like I'm connecting dots and I'm seeing, oh, this connects with this and this connects with this and this connects with this. And so I think that helps mental health a lot. I think if husbands could somehow communicate to their wife how they've been hurt, I don't think most husbands, the wussy ones, yes, the terrible, the weak husbands, they will blame their wives. Like, it's your fault that I'm feeling like this. Like, really? So that's just, but I think a wife, she will often take over ownership of, like, so your husband's hurt, and yes, part of that hurt is you. Own whatever percentage that is and try not to hurt him again. Like, that makes sense. But a big part of it's him, baggage from his past, his parents, his kid, being a child. There's a whole bunch at work. There's a whole bunch of stuff that it's not just her. And so if she can go ahead and segment what part of it, that hurt is hers, take ownership of that and change, then she will be able to go ahead and connect with him And I believe he will be able to be vulnerable with her. And I think he wants to be, but he doesn't know how to be, and she doesn't know how to help him to be. So again, these podcasts are pretty cool. You don't want to even miss one. Always come early, always stay late. Always remember we can accomplish so much more together than we ever could on our own. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.